Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the top 100 favorite games of mine of all time.
Yeah, sure, yours.
Alright, we are now on number 61 to 70 in my top 100. So the games just keep getting better from here on onward. Doesn't mean the previous games were bad, they are still top 100 games of mine. But again, these, as we keep going up, it's just going to keep getting better. So let's start with number 70, and on number 70 is going to be Zillionaires on Mars, or as some people might know it from its old name, the Game of 49. So Zillionaire on Mars is a very simple game which is similar to 4 in a row. You have to get 4 in a row, and if you are able to do it, you win the game. Okay, so that's very simple. What's so special in Zillionaires on Mars is that there is going to be a board with different area slots, and you are buying these properties on Mars. So each round there is going to be a property opened up which is going to show that okay, this property is on sale. Every player starts with a bit of money, zillionaires, zillions of dollars or zillions, whatever you want to call the unit, and you are basically doing an auction on them. That okay, it's an open auction. You're going to go in rounds and start auctioning that how much you are willing to pay for building or owning that property, owning that lot on Mars. And that's where the game theme is going to come out, because you're trying to outbid. You can see that by bidding on these properties, you are trying to make that 4 in a row, either in a line or row, column, or diagonal way. And you can see who has made those rows and columns. Maybe they have 2 or 3 already in a row. Maybe you want to stop them from getting that 4th one in a row, and that's why you're just putting all your budget in stopping them. But by stopping someone, you are wasting your own money, which you could have got to get your own property and get your own objective complete. So it's a twist on that simple game of 4 in a row by adding this auction mechanic, and you're trying to keep that money hidden because you don't want people to know that how much money you have left, because then they are going to easily outbid you. They will exactly know how to outmaneuver you in this one, and that adds a lot of fun in this one. Shal, what's your opinion about Zillionaires?
It's a fun game. I like it. I probably won it once or twice. And that's all I remember.
What about the hammer?
Oh yes, the hammer is my favorite part. They have a hammer. You can slam it when they're like announcing that okay, who wins this property. You slam it.
All right, so that's
And I like
Zillionaires
to hit
on
his head with it.
that Zillionaires are again. I think the game is now available in multiple variants. I think there is a variant for Route 66. The theme doesn't make sense,
Route
but anyway,
66, as in
The-
the longest route.
yeah. So there is one theme of that. Then there is a theme about luck, the Apple TV's animated movie.
Yeah.
There is a variant of that available as well. So whichever variant you get, I prefer to get the Zillionaires or more, because paying zillions seemed ridiculous enough as this game is ridiculous. And the original game was Game of 49, which was just pure numbers. It was purely abstracted out. But again, all the games are same, the rules are same. So that's number
It's just
70.
the team that's different.
Yeah, Zillionaires on Mars or Game of 49. On number 69 is going to be a combination of many games, and that's going to be the Unlock Adventure series. Unlock
My
games.
personal favorite. My personal number one.
And that's on my number 69, Unlock games. Now, exit games were the ones who introduced masses to the escape room games in a box. But exit series is, I think, in my 120 or something. It's in my that range. Whereas Unlock has exceeded that, and now Unlock series is in my top 100, very close to the middle, in fact. And Unlock games are the few things make it much more better than exit games. In exit games, you have kind of typical tropes that you are always expecting. For example, you are always expecting they will use the box in some way. You are always expecting they will use something on the manual, something hidden in the insert to solve the puzzle. So the tropes are kind of becoming same.
You can guess everything at this point.
And the components have to be destroyed once you play it, so it's not a replayable game. So you spend money on something and then the game is gone. Now instead, if you use unlock, you can play that game as many times as you want. You can even give it to someone else to solve it after you.
You can
And,
replay it, but my father does not want to do that.
well, if you know the story, then you don't replay it. But
Well,
anyway,
what if I know the story? I don't
You-
remember how to solve the puzzles.
yeah. But you can replay those games as well, unlock games. So that's a proper advantage of it over other puzzle games. Then the other thing is, which elevates it much more, is it uses just cards. There are no other gimmicks, no other cardboard tokens, no other things. Few games might have one or two elements of it.
Maybe like some paper or
maybe a
some-
map or something. But that's it. It doesn't use any other components other than the cards which are going to come with the game. The mechanisms are going to be very same. If you know how to play one exit game, you can easily play another exit game, because it's always going to be okay. The red items can be used with the blue items,
The green items, you
and then the green items are the apps, because app is what makes every game unique. Every unlock adventure, every case in this one is going to come with its own, well, the app is the same, but with its own mini games or mini,
It's like there's one app, but they have different categories depending on the game you buy.
yeah, and unique interactive things are in those apps. And you will be surprised in how many unique ways they use that app, what you have to do to solve the puzzle using the app. So people might think that, okay, app based, but really this app is something unique. These
It
puzzles,
really adds to the experience.
yeah. And if the app wasn't there, the unlock will not be this high. Maybe the exit will be better than unlock game. It's
Also-
just due to the app, because of which I like unlock more.
Also, if you don't have the app, then you just can't progress in the game.
So anyway, if you're looking for an escape in the room puzzle adventure game, then you cannot go wrong with any kind of unlock games. Again, I've done my own ranking of unlock games themselves. This is just a collection of them which I put on 69. You can see my other video which ranks my favorite unlock games as of 2022, I think, whatever games had come out by then. But that list is available separately. But for my number 69, unlock games, all of them. On number 68 is going to be Cartographer Heroes. Now, Cartographers is another roll and write. In the last video, I said that maybe I don't have any other roll and write. I was lying. I didn't know.
You didn't know.
I didn't know. So, Cartographer Heroes is, well, Cartographers is very famous roll and write, in which you are going to again flip a card. It's going to tell what kind of mountain region, houses, terrain, flood, water, land, what kind of land area have you explored as a cartographer, and you're going to make it on your map. There are certain objective cards that are going to be revealed in each game, so each time the bonus points are going to be different based on what kind of terrain you have to complete on your map. Then there are going to be, of course, special combos that you can do. But what heroes add in addition to the standard cartographers were that there were always monster cards shuffled in those as well. So different monsters are going to come, and whenever a monster card is revealed, then you give your map to someone else, to the person on your right or left, and they are going to draw that monster on your map. They will see, okay, where is the area where this monster is going to hurt them, and each monster is going to have some special abilities. So you will draw them in the worst location possible and give that map back to you. And now the heroes version, what it adds is are different kind of heroes in the game. Not only you can just draw the terrain around the monster to trap them, now you can have heroes guarding different terrain as well. So if you don't want someone to actually draw a monster in a particular area, you can draw a hero to guard that area, or even kill a monster in a certain area if you can draw that hero in that particular location. So it just adds a little bit above cartographers to make it more adventuresome. It's set in the role-played universe, and I think Cartographer Heroes just elevates it above cartographers enough to give me that adventure feel, and that's why I love Cartographer Heroes. You played it once with us.
I think I actually did, because it does sound like a game I would play. But do I remember what I did in it? No.
Alright, so that's number 68, Cartographer Heroes. On number 67 is a party game called So Clover.
I remember this. Don't worry.
Okay, so Clover game is going to give each player a clover shaped, well, doesn't matter each player. What you are going to get is you're going to solve one clover shape in each at a time. In that clover, you're going to have 4 cards fit with different orientations. That cards are going to have a hole in the center and 4 words on the sides. And whatever is in the set orientation, 2 words are going to come on the edges of the clover. So each clover leaf is going to have 2 words, and the person who is trying to give you a guess has to write one word which depicts those 2 things. But sometimes it can become really weird. So for example, you might have 2 words like crown and pudding. So what do you make a word which makes them same?
I can't use 2 words. You can only use 1 word.
Yeah. So maybe if you run out of anything else, you will write yellow. Maybe the crown is goldenish and yellowish, and the pudding is yellow.
Yellowish.
So again, you might type it yellowish. That's the hint that you might give, and you're hoping. Then what? On each of these leaves, again on all 4 sides, you are going to give hints like these for each combination of 2 words. Then you are going to mix those cards as well as add another card in it, and then give it to the guessers, and they are going to collectively look, all the other players become the guesser, and they are going to check different orientations and try to guess what were the original orientation of words, what the original source of words were, which became that hint. So it's a very unique word game in which you are trying to match the frequency of, okay, my understanding of this is going to match with them or not, and you are also trying to give the hints so that they are not confused with anything else. So if something else was there which was yellow as well, maybe a sun word was there on one of the cards, so you don't want to give yellow hint for that, because someone is going to think, oh, yellow, sun is yellow. So
Technically not. The color of the sun depends on where you are in the space, and technically
sun is yellow. So anyway, that's what you don't want to do. So that's So Clover.
I don't really have any particular thoughts on this game. It is, believe me, it is a really nice game. I would really recommend it. But I'll just say I don't think I've really played it enough to have much of an opinion on it.
Oh, we played it a lot in Pakistan
Did we?
with Dada.
Did we?
Yes. All right.
So I have the memory of a goldfish.
So she forgot about So Clover, which is
I know-
number
I
67.
know how to play it. I know what it looks like. I just don't remember any of the experience I had playing it.
All right, let's move on to number 66, which is The Key, Murder at Oakdale Club. Now the Key, you can take any game in the Key series, but I have the Murder in the Oakdale Club based on difficulty ranking. I thought this is going to be better for me. The Key is a logic puzzle game. Logic puzzles, you might be familiar that, for example, oh, these 2 guys were available at this site, but not the 3rd guy. So you're trying to deduce, if this happened here, then who wasn't available at what location. But this guy was wearing that kind of clothes. So out of the remaining 2 suspects, okay, this guy is not wearing that clothes, so this must be the murderer. So that kind of logic puzzle you are trying to solve in this one. But what you have to solve is, for example, in the Murder at the Oakdale, you are trying to find who the murder suspect is. Well, there have been multiple murders at the golf club, and you're
Yeah.
trying to find who killed who at what time, with what weapon, using what vehicle. And if you can solve all of that, the game has a really, again, there are multiple cards for this, and you just get to pick up in real time. You get to pick up these cards, and whatever is the logic given on it, you're trying to find out the clues enough that you have enough of a solution. The minimum cards that you take, the more points. It's golf based scoring, so the minimum cards you take is going to be the better. Plus you will get additional points if you are the first one to solve the case. You're competitively solving this case. This is not a cooperative game. So once you solve the case, then the game is going to be presented with a very unique answer mechanism, that once you have the answer, it's going to give you a 4-digit number, and using that 4-digit number, you're going to get a case key, which might be comes in different kind of colors. You're going to put that key in the board to find out if the backside of that board matches the color of the key, then that means your answer is correct. But if it
Even
is,
though that technically means, like with the artwork, it technically implies that you are unlocking them.
no, that you found the key to solve it. So
However,
So if you have found the key to solve it, then that means your answer is correct. So that makes this game, even though it's a logic puzzle game, it makes it infinitely replayable, which was very unique idea to me when I was initially thinking about purchasing it. That okay, a murder mystery game where each time the solution is going to be different. So that's really unique. So there are different keys available in this, and by the time you solve any 3, 4, 5 keys, you would have forgotten what was the key combination for the very first purple key or yellow key, whatever you solved at that time. So that makes it infinitely replayable logic puzzle game. What do you think about this one?
I agree with Baba. It's like very easy to forget the code, so it's easily replayable. It's very replayable. It's a nice game to play with friends, and I really like that sort of game where you just have to secretly solve stuff. You're looking at the cards for clues, and you just have to sort of piece everything together for yourself. You're given clues, and you have to do the work yourself.
Yeah, the slight ding to it might be that everyone is doing it quietly. So this is one of those games where there is no table talk happening while you are trying to solve the case.
Unless you involve arguing that you stole that card I was looking for as talking.
But so you don't essentially talk with each other. But otherwise, it's a great game, which is number 66, The Key. Now, number 65 is going to be Scrawl, or in other parts of the world, well, Scrawl is the Big Potato's name of this game, but in other parts of the world, the game is also available as Telestrations, which is an open source game which is very simple
Are you
concept.
talking about the...
I'll tell. So it's a very simple concept which is based on the open source game called Telephone, in which you're going to get a word, a statement, and you have to draw it out. Once you've drawn it, you give it to someone else without the word. You're going to show him the picture. Based on the picture, they are going to write a statement explaining what they see in the picture. That statement is going to go to the next player, and based on that statement, they are going to draw what they think is supposed to be the picture of that. So you keep doing it until the last player, and then so every player will be doing this, and you will be drawing pictures for other players' statements, etc., until everything comes back to you with your original thing, but nobody knows what was your original statement. And then it's time to reveal, and everyone will start revealing, and you will say that okay, my original statement was this, and then I drew this picture, and then somebody mistook it, a gorilla, thinking that this is an astronaut, and the astronaut, somebody wrote the astronaut is dancing on the dance floor, and somebody drew it as a mechanic doing something, fixing a toilet, and somebody, so you
How would that go?
based on your horrible drawings, the game title is Scrawl, a game for horrible artists. Horrible artists, and that is very true to the game. Now, the reason why I like Scrawl, which is the Big Potato version, over Telestration is because the word statements in this one are 2-statement words mostly, and they are not easy to draw. So it isn't something like gorilla. Oh, everyone will draw gorilla, or kite. No, they will make it really something stupid, which is very hard to draw.
Like very something you really got to think about for a second.
That how should I draw it? Like dancing on a wheelbarrow. So maybe.
How do you dance on a wheelbarrow?
So anyway, and there are 100% chances of people getting this wrong, and only the fun will come when people will get it wrong. So in the end, you really don't care about points in this one. It's just a fun activity that you're doing, and hilarity is ensured. Yes?
As someone who is mostly better when it comes to art in this family, aka I am the best at art, except for him. He's actually better than me. You're still bad at Scrawl though. This is honestly one of my favorite games because it's something that you can play with your family and you don't have to worry about them like being super bad at it because it's meant for horrible people. And so
Horrible artists, not horrible people.
Oh yeah, horrible artists. I'm so sorry. Where did it? Okay, so it's a very nice game. I would recommend it. However, if you are a advanced or professional artist and you have friends who can also draw like you, then I would also recommend Garctic Phone.
Which one?
Garctic Phone. It's like this, but it's entirely art based.
Okay, that I don't know. All right. So that's number 65, Scrawl or illustrations. On number 64 is going to be MicroMacro Crime City. I have specifically the full house version, but you can take any MicroMacro game out of the 3 games that are available right now.
Almost the same, right? It's just like more cases.
Yeah, different cases. So MicroMacro is a game like Where's Waldo, where you will have a giant map, A-size map, in which you're just going to have a line art. So it's a black and white line art map, and it's not just a map with pictures on it, it's actually a snapshot in time where you can try to follow the characters. So for example, you will see, oh, a murder has happened here, but if you try to follow the path, you will see that the murderer was actually approaching before the murder happened, and then, oh, these guys were arguing before the murder happened, so maybe that's the motive. But why were they arguing? Maybe you go back and back and back and back, and the map is having so many hundreds of stories depicted on it, so the same character you're trying to find. And then there are cases made out of it. Each case is going to give you some history about, okay, this is the case that you have to solve, and then on map you will be trying to figure out, okay, what can be the motive of this character? Why did someone pay it? This was a hired killer. What happened? Did someone steal something? Not all the cases are related to murder, but there is a lot of crime in this map. As the name indicates, it's a crime city. So that's the game. Different cases are available, and based on whether you want to expose children to murder based cases or not, in the full house version, each mission has a symbol on top of it that, okay, what kind of case it will be. So if you want to filter out, okay, these are very small kids, I don't want murder cases, I will just go with the robbery cases, for example, you can go ahead with that. So that's MicroMacro.
I personally do like the murder cases because it adds a bit of flavor, spice. And as for the game itself, it is really enjoyable. The map is huge and you really need to tape it down to the table. Like, if I had to say how big it is, I would say it's this entire table, which is huge. And one of the things you will experience when it comes to playing this game is witnessing all the other crimes except for the one you're looking for.
Yeah, you will be seeing babies doing horrible things in the map. While you're trying to solve your case, you will be distracted by so many other things. So that's MicroMacro on number 64. On number 63 is going to be Bohnanza.
Bohnanza. Do you say it with like some sort of accent?
Bohnanza, Bohnanza, Bohnanza. But other people will not know. That's a song from Pakistan. Okay, anyway. So Bohnanza is a game from Uwe Rosenberg, who is famous for his big games like Agricola or Feast for Odin. But Bohnanza is I think my only Uwe Rosenberg in my top 100, which is a very simple card game, and it has horrible artwork with beans on them. What you are essentially trying to do is you are doing bean farming, but the two things that make this game unique is that once you have your hand of cards, you cannot rearrange your hand of cards, so you always have to play the card which is in the front. And using that mechanism, sharing is actually made a mechanism in this game that you want to share. Oh, you want that bean? Please take it from me, because you have limited slots for growing beans. You have only limited plant fields.
It's like 2 or 3 depending on how many players.
If you cannot again grow your existing bean type, you have to harvest it for less points, and plant your new bean. So that's why the new bean which is in your hand, maybe you don't want to plant it right now and you will want other people to have it. So you are deliberately trying to give them those cards. So it improves the sharing. Everyone is trying to share. Oh, you're trying to have the black-eyed beans. Oh, here, let me give you black-eyed
You need
beans.
the cocoa beans? Here you go.
Yeah. So those two unique mechanisms really make this a very fun game. I'm really excited for the re-theme of this game, which is going to come out, which is Beth Sobel's artwork regarding the daffodils. So now you get to grow daffodils, and that artwork looks beautiful. But for now, I have Bohnanza, the original 1997 version with the horrible bean artwork.
I don't know, like the bean artwork.
But what about the game?
It's a nice game. It's very long. Like a really long game. But it's nice.
All right.
It's fine.
Okay, so that's number 63, Bohnanza. On number 62 is going to be Thunderstone Quest, another deck building game. And from this list, you might be thinking, I really like deck building, because
Yeah.
I do. So Thunderstone Quest is a deck building game, but with dungeon crawling adventure feel as well. So what you are essentially going to have is a board which has a market area, a town area with different abilities, plus it's going to have a dungeon area where there are going to be different monsters spawning, and each time when you have your deck building cards available with you, you will have to take a decision that whether I'm going to go in the market to the town, or do I want to go in the dungeon, and that's going to decide how you want to utilize your cards. So again, I like deck building games when they have a little kind of twist, and rather than just playing simply, okay, these are all the cards, I'm going to play all these cards. So if you can find that, okay, this time I'm going to go in a dungeon, I have a good attack power, so this lets me move through the dungeon, I have enough light, I can go to the deeper, darker areas of the dungeon, enough attack power to attack the bigger demons, get better loot out of them, which is going to be points for you at the end, as well as give you additional resources like bread, additional lanterns, things like that. Or you can decide, okay, my hand isn't going to be good, so I'm going to go to the market area in this one and spend my points to buy a better hand of cards for the future phases. So those kind of decisions, plus it comes with a story, which, well, the story was, I think, a weak part of it, because what happened in the story I really don't remember, but at least the missions were varying with it, and that made the game really good. So that's number 62, Thunderstone Quest.
I mean, it's not a bad story. It's essentially that it's forgettable.
Yeah, it's forgettable. So on number 61 is going to be Karuba. Again, you have not played that.
No, I have.
Oh,
So
yeah,
what-
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Karuba.
did-
Karuba,
This
you
is the
played
first
so
time
much.
I actually remember something I did play.
Oh, yeah, Karuba, you played so much.
Yes.
Okay, so number 61 is Karuba from Haba Games. So Haba Games normally make games for kids, but this one is slightly family weight game, not slightly, purely family weight game,
Yeah.
where adults are going to enjoy it as well. It's based on bingo mechanism, where one player is going to shuffle all their tiles and bring out one of the tiles, whatever is that tile, everyone else has to place the tile as well. So it's kind of like what roll and write these days do, but this is from olden days. Now it's a tile mechanism. What essentially you're trying to do is you have different adventurers who have to go to different pyramids to collect the treasure, but where do you place or find the path is based on those tiles. So you will be trying to make paths when those tiles are placed, to try and make a coherent path which takes your adventurer up to the pyramid. If you don't want to place that tile on your map, you can discard it, and whatever are the number of routes on it, that many spaces your adventurer moves. So you have to balance out that not all the tiles are going to go on your board, you have to move your adventurers as well. And on the path are going to be different diamonds and gold nuggets as well, which you do want to collect as well. Well, not diamonds, gems, which are worth 1 point or 2 point as well. Whoever reaches a dungeon first gets the biggest artifact, then the second player gets a smaller artifact. So it's a race, as well as once the tiles are done, maybe some adventurers will be forever lost in the dungeon. So it's a really fun and simple game, Karuba.
I would say it is a very interesting game, in my opinion. I really like the balance of having to both make the path and then moving the characters and also getting the little gold trinkets. And there's also this like rush racy feel that you need to be there first so you can get the most points. But there's also you're like your other character, if you just make this path, you also can go there, so like who am I supposed to do? There's also strategy and thinking involved.
So a really fun game for families, Karuba, my number 61. There is a Karuba card game as well, which when I saw it, I didn't feel as much interesting. I still like the old tile-based Karuba game. But anyway, if you can find it, then I can really recommend it. I really enjoy it with the family. So that's number 61, Karuba. And that brings us to another closer of this video from number 61 to number 70. Today we covered, and now after this we will be in future covering, well, we are close to half.
We're close to halfway.
We're close to halfway through. So once again, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to leave that in the comment. See you next time. Happy gaming.
Happy